Well, you know, so long ago, I think that we expected to get some backlash. We were obviously changing a lot of things in the game, and so you sort of expected. I think that it would be fair to say that we were maybe a little surprised by the duration and intensity, but I'll hold fast to my original point, which was once we started getting the actual game out and putting it in people's hands and having them see it, that a lot of those concerns would start to dissipate, and I think we are starting to see that. So, you know, a little surprising at first, but I'd rather have a user base that was passionate about the game than indifferent to it. So, I think there's a pretty good balance between the recognizable and the new. So, he's got double guns in ebony and ivory. He's got Rebellion as his main sword. They're fulfilling largely the same roles they did in the main game. There's a lot of, I don't want to say similarity or identicalness, but there's a lot of recognizable stuff in his moveset that people will see and be familiar with. But at the same time, there are a lot of changes. Maybe a little more emphasis on traversal gameplay than there had been. The malice mechanic opens up new possibilities and depth and variety in the gameplay. So, enough there for anyone who has a significant amount of equity built up in the franchise that I think that they'll be happy with the game, and then enough new stuff to deepen and freshen up the experience to some degree. We've worked really closely with key Japan staff members who have been, in the case of Isuno-san, the lead creative on 3 of the previous 4 DMCs. So there's a lot of knowledge and wisdom that's being transferred over from those guys. 25 years plus of making pretty awesome fighting games leads to a large storehouse of institutional knowledge. So just having that and having those guys be on deck to help Ninja and to provide suggestions and guidance means that the game is going to be very recognizable in terms of its level of complexity and combat depth from what people expect from previous DMCs. I don't think that people are going to feel this to be a thin or diminished experience whatsoever. This game has a ton of depth in it. Well, you'll see some of that, and I think in some of the stuff we've shown that's there. I mean, once again, we didn't want a complete break with what previous DMCs have done, even in the visual realm. I mean, it's pretty clear our game looks very different from previous DMCs in a lot of ways, but I think that if you look at the environments, there are gothic overtones to the city. It's a more like maybe what you'd expect from seeing some of the more classic European cities, where there's this sense of older architecture, but in the context of what is actually a modern city overall. I think that's what we tried to achieve with this game. The story is a straightforward, like mission-based, the ways other previous DMCs have been. So it's not open world per se. I mean, I like to say that some of the things we've done with respect to level design give the spaces a open sensibility to them, but it's you go through the world in discrete missions. Well, I hope that a lot of Ninja Theory is in the game. I mean, that's why we came to these guys. They have a very distinct sense, particularly artistically and storytelling. So we wanted that when we approached them. Those are obviously very important elements to a DMC game in general, but also Ninja Theory's take on those is different and something of a sort of a much different sensibility that had been in the game prior to that. So we told them to run, explore the space with respect to that. And I'd say they've done a pretty good job. I mean, obviously, when it comes to combat, character design, things of that nature, we're very much involved and work closely with them. But for presentation, maybe even some of the world-shifting mechanics, and certainly the overall look of the game, we asked Ninja Theory to do what they thought was right.
Yeah, we'll meet you there. See you soon, Virgil.